How are we all doing today? It is cold outside. I want something comforting, warm, but most of all, I want it quick and I want it now. Two things that always sort of like help pick you up, get you warmed up from the inside, are a nice soup and a real simple sandwich. Well, this sandwich you can't get much easier. We are going to do a shredded chicken barbecue sandwich. Simple, easy. You can do this with any sauce you like. I'm actually going to be using a combination of some Bullseye Hickory and some Sweet Baby Ray's sweet and spicy. It's just a combination of flavors that I really like. You get that smokiness, get a little sweetness, a little bit of heat, because that Bubba Race has some heat. Of course, some chicken breasts. We've got some nice crusty rolls, and we're going to put a little cheese on that and warm it all up. But to do the shredded chicken, you can either like roast it up and then just shred it with some forks, which is fine. It's nice, it's quick, it's easy. But I'm going to poach the chicken first because we're going to use that broth to make a really quick and simple soup. So just to the side here, I do have a pot of chicken stock. Homemade is always best, but in this case, I'm using a carton of pre-made stock. That's fine. Just use a low sodium one. It's already so much salt and stuff. So we have a simple chicken breast that I'm going to put in the stock. We're actually going to do 2 of them in there. And that's just going to cook for a few minutes. Always forgetting my rag. That only takes like 6 to 7 minutes. We just want it cooked through. We want it tender, just so we can pull it apart real easily. It's not hard. Let's face it. We're boiling a pot of chicken stock. We're throwing some chicken in it. While that's going, though, I'm going to get the soup ingredients recipe. Soup recipe ingredients ready. We'll try that again, eh? The soup we're going to be making is a broccoli cheddar soup. Now, we already have our chicken stock warming up. We're going to add to that a little bit of half and half or heavy cream. Don't have to if you don't want to, but that creaminess just goes really well. We're going to add some old cheddar cheese. When I say old, I don't mean it's been in my fridge for a while. Old as in aged. We want that flavor, that bite per se. And for the broccoli, I'm just using some frozen broccoli florets that are still in my freezer. So I'm just chopping the cheese. Doesn't have to be crazy. So I've got maybe half a cup that I've just sliced up. And I'm just going to dice this a little bit, roughly chop it, and it's just so it'll melt easier. You can add more cheese if you want. You can add less cheese, although I don't know why. I'm just turning the chicken breasts in the pot. There we are. It just makes it melt quicker, and it won't be as stringy, so to speak. We want this a nice smooth soup. When we get to the soup, we'll move the camera over there and you'll get to see that. But that is all the prep we have to do. This, like I say, is such a simple meal. The chicken breasts are going. They're almost ready. I'm not going to show you a pot boiling because let's face it, we've all seen water boil before. They're coming along really nicely. We've got our half and half open. I'm just doing half and half because it's a little bit lighter, a little bit, I don't want to say better, but let's be honest, this is 10% fat. Cooking cream is 35% fat. You could use milk, but it'll just be runnier. So I'm sticking with the cooking creams. We're going to just season it with some simple black pepper. That's it. Doesn't need much else. We can always season afterwards. So our chicken breasts are almost done. Once that's ready, we'll show you how we shred those. Toss it in the sauce. We'll get the bread. Might as well. So I just have some simple crusty rolls. And to make this a little easier to eat, I'll put that behind us for now. See, nice roll. Normally, you would cut down the side, do it as a sandwich. We are going to go in the middle, and we're just going to get our fingers in there and sort of push the bread to the side. That'll create a nice pocket for us to get all of our filling in. And like I say, we're going to top this with cheese. We're going to put it, well, we're going to put it in the oven. I'm just going to use the air fryer and the bake feature because it's fast, it's quick, it's simple, and it's easier to clean. So my chicken here, oh, is so close. We're like maybe a minute away on the chicken. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let that cook. We're going to move the camera over so you can see how we shred this. We're going to get our sauce in and we'll go from there. So just give me a sec while we move everything around. And there we go. We have our chicken. Just have it in a little bowl. And just get in there with a couple of forks. And you'll feel how it just wants to pull. I'm sorry if the camera shakes a bit. Whoop. See here? This is why we have to be careful. No one wants pink chicken. It's hard to judge sometimes, but by giving us that little pull, yeah, we can see this needs a little bit longer. You've got to be careful when dealing with chicken. See, these little bits here that I checked were good, but the thicker pieces need a bit more time. This has only been like 5 minutes, so we'll come back when that's fully cooked. Hey everyone, we are back again. Just really quickly, as you can see, I somewhat started shredding it, realizing my camera wasn't on. So, we've just shredded it a little bit. I'm going to turn the heat down on our stock, and just give you a quick peek at that. So, we just have a little bit of chicken stock simmering away. We're going to add our frozen broccoli. You can use fresh, of course, but believe it or not, the frozen will be faster. I'm just going to let that cook and soften. There's a little bit of chicken in there still, but that's okay. So we have our chicken here, and you'll feel when you get your forks into it how it wants to shred. How it wants to shred with the grain. How those fibers of the chicken are just going to pull apart. You can get it as fine or as chunky, so to speak, as you want. I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. But we want to do this while it's still hot. It'll just be easier. And when we go in just a second to get our sauce in here, it's just going to soak up that sauce a lot nicer. Now, I've made more than enough with just those 2 chicken breasts here for a good 3 sandwiches, 4 sandwiches. Depends on how much you fill them. There we go. So you can see we've got some nice little stringy bits. We've got some nice little still chunks to bite into. And like I said, as far as the sauce, we're going for a combination here. You can do with just your one sauce, your favorite sauce, whatever. So we're going to give it a little shot of each. That one didn't want to open. So I'm going with this combo because it gives me a nice smoky, sweet, spicy, gives me all the flavors I want. And this we're just going to toss together, but we want to make sure everything gets coated. So, and again, if you want more sauce, add more sauce. I like my barbecue. I like my barbecue sauce. So I'm going to add a little bit more in there. Now the filling for our sandwich here is all done. At this point, we can take our bun and take some of our chicken. Just start loading that bun up. Now we created that pocket on the side, so get it in there. Don't be afraid to stuff it. Just like pulled pork sandwiches, this is going to be messy. And if you're worried about making a mess, use a knife and fork. So we've got our stuffed sandwich. Like I said, we're going to throw some cheese on here. I'm just going with a simple mozzarella. I could have done the cheddar, but I had the mozzarella ready. So this is going to go in my air fryer. You can do it in your oven, 350, just till that cheese gets melty and the bread gets nice and warm. So let me get this in and we'll be right back and finish off that soup. So there we are. So we are back to our soup side. And as you can see here, we've got our broccoli in there. It's getting nice and soft. We're just going to turn the heat up on that a little bit. Now we're going to add that black pepper like we said. So far in here we have 3 things: chicken stock, black pepper, and the broccoli. We aren't doing anything crazy, no rocket science yet. Next, this might seem a little bit different, but we're just going to add, trying to get it off here, there we go. We're just going to add about a tablespoon of butter. It's just going to add another level of richness. It's going to make it taste that much nicer. Now we'll also add our half and half. And I'm just going for about a cup there. Now this is just for me, so if there's more of you, use more chicken stock. I just used 1 container. But obviously the more people, the more stock you're going to add. This is the only, I don't want to even call it a tricky part. It's the only part you have to sort of like pay attention to. And that's when you're adding your cheese. Make sure it's all melted before you add the next little bit. Otherwise, your soup, while it'll still taste really good, won't be as creamy. And it'll actually get a little bit stringy. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not going to be the same. So we've got our cheese going in. Well, as that half and half cooks, this will thicken a little bit. If you want it really thick and creamy, don't even bother with the chicken broth. Just use heavy cream. And as you're cooking it, that's going to thicken. The cheese will thicken it a bit. And if you want it thicker than that, add a little bit of flour. Not a lot, just a bit. And that'll thicken it all up. So as that cheese melts, it's going to color this a little bit. I'm stirring it a lot because I don't want it to burn to the bottom of my pot. We're dealing with dairy and cheese and high temperatures. That is a whole recipe for burning. Now, our soup is ready. We can leave it like that. It's going to be great. It's going to be delicious. Or we can take our stick blender to it. If you don't have a stick blender, there we are, a stick blender. If you don't have one, you can also do this just in your blender to make it nice and smooth. So we're probably gonna have to mute this, but it also helps when you have a good immersion blender. I have a pretty garbage one here. It was $9 at Walmart. A blender might have been a better idea. There we go. This is not the ultimate smoothness, but without me pulling out the blender, this is going to be the most I'm going to get from this thing. So this just goes to show you, it pays to invest in your equipment. So our soup is ready. We're just going to give it, well, I'm going to turn it off the heat. Going to give it a little taste here for seasoning. Chicken's really good. We're getting that cheese, the broccoli. I'm actually going to add a splash more of the cream to it. Because, you know me, I love my cheese. Little more cheese, just because I want to know it's a broccoli and cheddar soup. Because right now it tastes more. It still tastes really good, but it tastes more like just a broccoli soup. And we're just going to let the heat of that melt that cheese. We don't need any salt. We don't need any more pepper. And our soup now is done. So what we're going to do is we're just going to plate all this up. And of course, we're going to do our tasting. So let's be right back. And welcome back, everyone. We are set. I'd left it behind me because I just did the thumbnail shots. So we have our nice hot soup. It smells so good. Of course, we have to take a taste. Nice, thick. Really hot. But all those flavors are coming through. Now I can taste that cheddar. I'm getting all those flavors. But the star of the show. Said we were going to stuff that, bake it in the oven a little bit. That bread now is super nice and crispy. Let's cut this in half and give you a nice little side view. You can see how much that chicken is in there. That sauce. Oh yeah. If you want, you can add more sauce at this point, but this is going to be hot. Because we poached that chicken, barbecue sauce all over my face. Because we poached that chicken, we poached it in chicken stock. It's super tender, tons of flavor. The barbecue sauce, like I say, I've used two of my favorites. Use whatever sauces you like. But the flavor combination, and that smokiness, the heat, little sweetness, just so good, and it's so tender. That nice crispy roll, the soft gooey cheese. I'm glad I made enough for more, because I'm so going back for a second sandwich. So good. Super tender, juicy. All the flavors from the sauce, everything. Perfect combination on a cold day like today. Just feels so good. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please, if you're new, remember to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you know when I come out with new videos, normally at least once a week. Leave me a comment down below. Would you try this? Have you tried this? What is your favorite barbecue sauce? So, until next time, my name is Andrew. I am the 5 p.m. chef. I really hope to see you all again. So until then, have a great day. Bye.